Okay, I think we're live. Let me know how it streams if I'm loud enough. Okay, I think we're fine. Welcome back to OAC. It's been a while. For any kind of broadcasting. I've had quite a long break, I'd say. Mostly due to issues in the league, but we are back and we're ready to go racing this evening at Laguna Seca with the Altezza Cup. As we have some of our drivers setting laps already, with plenty more to come, with 19 drivers on the grid today. It's looking to be a very promising grid, especially we've seen some familiar names. Zofa, Domas definitely. He's a returning contender for a OAC and has been since the start of the league. Oh, a little bit of a spin there. Wellerman, of course, I think he's a newer driver, but very prominent in OAC, I believe. Ines as well. So, quite a few names, actually. And, yeah. Last 15 minutes practice now. We've got quite a few drivers, 15 currently. 14 without me. Yeah. We've had some new drivers on the grid today, some returning ones. It's looking to be a good race, especially for the car we chose today. This is the Altezza Cup. A little bit of lag there. Unsure of why that's occurring. Should be back to normal quite soon. I'm not sure exactly why, but rain races. I'm not sure. It's lagging quite a lot. There's not much I can do about it, but oh, lag, yeah. Yeah, it's called lag. That's shouldn't get this lag though. Shouldn't be lagging. I saw I fixed my Wi-Fi, but this game does not seem to be happy. The thing is, the ping's consistent. If it wasn't, then Okay, let's hope so it dies down before the racing gets underway, because that's going to be an issue. No, I did fix my Wi-Fi. It's a little bit cold here, apologies if I'm sniffing a little bit. It seems to be going. It seems to be dying down now. It's hopefully going to be okay from now on. I don't want to jinx anything, but it's looking okay for the time being. Okay. Seems to be doing alright now. Some of our drivers are in the pits, obviously. Still yet to set a lap, probably because they had practice beforehand. They could be sorting out their setups and stuff. So as we wait for that to... Yeah, I mean, the rating-wise, it's we do have 18 people on the grid, but doesn't seem like it's going to. How many times soon? It's consistently 140, but I'm not so sure about the lag. The lag's a little bit of a prominent issue, but I mean, apart from that, it seems to be okay. Yeah, I don't know why the leaderboard's not showing everyone. If I try and fix that now, if it would let me, I had a bit of an issue with this earlier. Yes, I have 18 cars on the thing. I just don't think they've set a lap yet. I think that's why. Oh my god, what's happening there? Having a little bit of a... Apart from that, is the stream watchable? What is he doing? Oh, I think he spun. Yeah, Jakob here. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Seems to be a prominent contender both here and ACSL. Alongside Tommy Rawling here, which won race 1 of ACSL Clio Cup last weekend. Apologies if I do sound a bit depressed. I do have a bit of a sore throat, but I'm here and commentating anyway, as I thought this race was going to be a banger. And let's see what some of our other drivers are doing. Cow, he's also a returning contender. Unsure of when his last race was, since it's been a while since he's raced last. He's back on the grid and setting some laps. Seems to be 2.5 seconds off pace. But we'll only be able to see the true gaps when we do qualifying in 8 minutes' time. Into the corkscrew he goes. This bit's a little bit difficult. If you don't manage to catch it, you gain a little bit of snap oversteer on the landing and spin out, which hopefully won't happen in the race. Something I'm not looking forward to. However, as long as people can keep it together and not play bumper cars, so for setting a new lap there, as long as people can't, people refrain from playing bumper cars on the first lap or so, we should be fine. Now we've got Ryan Cole, also a returning contender. Very well built mod, as we can see. Very decent model in the interior wise as well. Zofa in that red and white Altezza there. Going off. Seems Darren has set a lap. Albeit subpar due to leaving the pits. Oh my, what is he doing? I think he's trying to find an easier way to... Yeah, I mean, these, like, most of these liveries here are, the stock ones obviously, actually really decent made, and there's plenty of them as well. Even this one, the Lotus F1. I mean, this is a really cool livery. Nice to see people in chat, obviously. Yeah. Who's your winner then? Out of our drivers on the grid today, who's your winner? A little bit of a slide coming out the corner there, but managed to catch it. Wellerman managed to go off. Ryan Cole. Oh dear, that was very good timing. Unsure what happened there. I think he lost it on the downhill. Who's that then? I think that's right. I think that's George Given. I'm not so sure. It was a little bit wide. Plenty of people spinning out, unsure why that's happening. Yeah. Radu Alex. Oh. And he visited the barriers, obviously. Not an uncommon occurrence, definitely, with these cars. They are a little bit finicky when coming out of a corner. Obviously, if you're letting off through a corner and you're downshifting through a corner, that can cause it to be a little bit unsettled, as well as when you're braking. In general, can become a little bit unsettled, but a little bit, you know, you don't have to... It's not about fighting the steering, it's letting the steering wheel do its work. And that's the secret for most of these lightweight rear-wheel drive vehicles. Especially on tracks like Laguna Seca, when you've got quite tight corners that go into an incline or a decline, and especially corners that have, you know, an elevated curb, such as Laguna Seca, which you've got the first 3 or 4 corners which have the sausage curb on the inside, which are a no-go, especially in these cars. A thing to watch out for this race is watching people take these corners at certain speeds, or clipping the grass, especially coming down into the corkscrew, because when you've lost it at like 100 kph, there's not much chance of you saving it. But there we go, he's hit the sausage curb. Yeah, so that's a prime example of what not to do in these cars. And yeah, most of the time the actual corners are, you know, are taken faster when you don't hit the sausage curb, and he's lost it. But yeah, if you take the sausage curb and you lose it, that's your race done. George Given in the chat, thank you. Yeah, it's quite a new one, trying something different today. We've got OAC as a sponsor and Portimao Racing as a sponsor on the leaderboard, which I thought was quite neat. I thought I might as well do something because it looked a little bit bland without it. They're just overlays in OBS, so they're not actually there. But quite interesting anyways. Tommy Rawlings set a 137.4, which is half a second behind Jakob there. Yeah, trying something different compared to our previous races. This leaderboard is most likely going to stay. I just like how simple it is and actually shows you everything you need to know. But while we're racing, I might change it to the interval instead of having the times, because that's usually more optimal, because then I can see who's fighting and who's not. Final minutes of practice here. We've got some epic racing on the way, so stay tuned if you are joining us now. But yeah, quite a promising grid today. 18 drivers. Unsure of how many are actually going to turn up. We seem to have already 14 of those 18 drivers, or 19 drivers, my apologies, which unfortunately I don't think are going to be able to make it. But it all seems very promising, and yeah, let's hope for some epic racing. More to come in the following weeks. We've got some more races lined up for February, some races lined up for March. So everything's all nicely set, just the execution that's the most important. Back to the stream now, though. My apologies. I was just having a drink. Oh, and that's what I mean by snap oversteer. If you hit the side of that too hard, or you lose it, which is very easy to happen in these cars when you've got, you know, a little bit of snap oversteer coming down into downhill, and you can't save it. That's an unfortunate trade-off when driving these cars. Love you too, Dante. Yeah, Tommy. Be quite interesting to see what Tommy can do today. Setting one of the fastest laps, or 136.9 in practice. He could try do more in qualifying. Maybe he's setting his car correctly. I did see your message. Which message are you talking about? Did I send it in Discord or? Yeah, Ryan Cole, keep hitting the sausages. I know, I've seen you a couple of times. Unfortunate, but Radu Alex coming in now. Going up the uphill part of the track. This is a crucial part of gaining time, because if you don't hit this corner correctly, you can go off quite badly. Didn't carry up enough speed through there, but most of the time it doesn't actually matter if you're just trying to play it safe or not. Ryan does love sausages. Do with that what you will. But as we come to the final seconds of practice here, a couple drivers setting their laps. And yeah, as we make our way into qualifying, this should be interesting. Who can come out on top, most importantly? Tommy in the chat, he won last week. Do you think Jacob will win? I say Jacob has a good chance, especially with the lap he's just set. You and Jacob, respectively, I think you guys can definitely put up, you know, a good fight against Casper, which has won most of our previous races in OAC, including the mini championship. Top 3 in the Spa-Francorchamps race we had last year in the GT3s. I believe that was early July. He managed to get top 3 in that. And the GT3, I'm not sure if he won racing the GT3s, but he's on race fuel. You're on quali fuel. Okay. Yeah, I mean, oh, Radu Alex has seemed to have spun it again. But yeah, I mean, I can see Jacob definitely winning it. If he, you know, as these cars are quite mistake prone, if you can prevent that from happening, then yeah, he's definitely a good contender for this today's race. Yeah, we'll have to see. Jacob against Casper. We'll have to see who can do a better job at keeping the top spot. And this should be your final minute or so of practice. My apologies. Yep, Wellerman in the Discord, the OAC Discord. I will put a link in chat if you're joining us from elsewhere. I shall put a link in chat for you to join. And Wellerman is wishing us a good quali. Us, as I mean... Oops, that's the YouTube link. Hang on a sec. Didn't copy for some reason. Discord. Okay. Here we are. You can join with that link in the YouTube chat. But yes, here we have a 1 minute cooldown until qualifying starts, and then everyone's going to be rushing to get out of the pit lane. Let's see who we have on the grid. Ryan Cole's asking me to shout out his grandparents. Shout out to Ryan Cole's grandparents for watching today. Yeah, I mean, we've got quite a promising grid, as I've said previously. Becky and Richard have just joined, so they weren't in practice. Silence is loud. I apologize. Yeah. Let's see who can come out on top in these next 12 minutes of qualifying. There we go, as all of our drivers seem to be playing bumper cars to try and escape the pits. I'm unsure of how to... Okay, you'll have to watch me for the next minute or so until someone practice. Say practice. Does it seriously say practice? Let's skip session then. I have no idea why it's just reset. Yeah, it's a little bit of an inconvenience there. I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, let's see. One minute while we try and get this sorted. I have no idea what's going on. Assetto hosting is being a little bit annoying, and it has been being annoying for the past, like, a few hours. I've been trying to set stuff up, and it's not been cooperating. So let's see if we can skip the session to qualifying, because it says it's practice. Next session. There we go, there's qualifying. Okay. Here we go, qualifying, everyone's going out. Let's watch Radu Alex do his outlap. Or not, apparently, because I can't seem to... Sounds like a bunch of bees. Yeah. Apologies for that, everyone. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but the ping seems to be acceptable now. I'm not going to jinx anything, but it looks to be okay. Yeah. I apologise for the FPS not being great, but I mean, I can't really do much about that. As long as the stream's watchable and you can see who's who, then I think that's fine. Give me a month or so, I'll have a better PC, and then we can see. You'll be able to see the stream in HD. Some of the drivers setting out laps now, and I still can't spectate them for some reason. But while we're waiting for the people to set their first lap or so, I'd like to wish everyone here a good evening, or a good rest of your evening, and some good racing on the way, obviously. It's, apart from the stream looking like it's been taken on a microwave, is my voice okay? Is my voice loud enough? Can you hear me loud enough? Yes, there is a link to the live timings page. I shall put it up here. One moment. I shall put it in chat now and pin it. There you are, there's your live timings. If you can see that there, I shall pin it as well. So you should see it at the top at all times. Now, some of our drivers should be setting their first proper laps now, as we have Jacob across the line with a 1:37.0. And then Casper followed behind with a 1:37.2, so a little bit behind Jacob there. But for the most part, he's keeping it together. Ryan Cole with a 1:41, he can definitely improve on that. So Cal with a 1:41.1. Radu Alex with a 1:57, so he didn't have such a great lap. He must have spun or something. Here we go, Wellerman. Not sure what he's doing on the side of the road. There he goes. Enes with his first lap. Richard Gles in the number 15 car there. Had an issue with the CSP, I believe, but seems to have fixed it. I'm not sure if he has or not. There was a little bit of a language barrier as he only speaks Spanish. I had to use a translator to be able to talk to him, but it seems to be working fine. Casper Morsini, I don't know. Oh, Casper the 1:35.866. So he's improved by 1.1 seconds on his last lap. I'm not sure why it's cut off like that. I couldn't extend it anymore. What if I make the scale bigger? Maybe we'll be able to see more of Casper's name. Oh no, it's the exact same. It's a bit annoying, but yeah. Apart from that, everyone's name you can see perfectly fine. It's just those with a longer name, such as Domas here. He's missing an S on the end of his name. Anyway, last 6 minutes of qualifying here, so we're halfway through. Kasper Mosiniak still on top with that 135.866, but Jacob might be able to manage. Oh, he's gone off. Unfortunate for Jacob there. Jacob might be able to put out something better. But as long as he can get something a little bit closer to Kasper, he should be okay. Sofa with a 137.65. So that puts him into third, decrowning Tommy Rawling now in fourth with a 138.1. It's all about setting the car up as well. There's some, there's some modifications you can do to the car. I believe you can change the anti-roll bar. I think you can change tyre pressures, camber, and all that good stuff. And make it to your liking. And I think that's what makes racing so amazing. Because everyone's racing differently. And you could have a more powerful, a more strong, aggressive setup, and then you could have maybe a more smooth setup, depending on your driving style, which is, always very interesting, definitely. As Mosiniak goes flying through there, manages to clip the apex properly. Let's go on board with him. If I can find my mouse. Let's have a look. Kasper on board. Is he going to be able to improve on his current time? Flying through there. A little bit of adjustment on the steering. And across the line he comes. With a 135.8. So he's not able to improve, unfortunately. He has one more chance to maybe get a better lap. And yeah, I mean, it's looking quite good. Everyone's quite close, I think, in the range of setting lap-wise. George Gibbons set his first lap recently, I think his first out lap. With his slightly modified default livery, I think he's just changed some of the sponsors and the colours, but looks decent, looks very nice. I keep having to drink something because my throat is not being the best to me today, but we power through it. Domas Kvedovas seems to have some fans in chat cheering him on. As he crosses the line, the 5-minute 20, that's certainly not championship pace or winning pace for sure. But he has one more chance to be able to set a decent lap. As he goes a little bit wide through there. And he goes off. That's slightly unfortunate. He has one more chance to prove himself. Yeah, he has a very good chance of winning. A very good chance of placing if he manages to keep it consistent. And that goes for most of our drivers, and he goes off. No, but he has a good chance of, making it into the top 10 if he plays his cards right. And plays it smart. I'm not glazing, I'm just being realistic. I mean, he has a decent chance of getting a few places if he doesn't spin. A lot of people having problems through the corkscrew, managing to keep it in a straight line. Look, old Marcini. Let's have a look, Marcini. Jacob's time is not coming up. Oh, that must have been an invalidated lap then. Jacob has one more chance to get a better time than Casper, so he has to make up a second and a half if he wants to try and place. Zofa with a 137.639, which puts him a tenth of a second in front of Rawling there. See, George Given as he comes down the corkscrew. Unfortunately, a second behind on his sector time there. Let's have a look if he manages to nudges him out of the way. I'm not sure who that was, but that marks the end of qualifying. So there's probably about 2 minutes left of qualifying as people manage to finish up their laps in the overtime. Oh, he's reset back to pits now. I see Jacob, unfortunately 5.6 seconds behind his his fastest lap, which I could only suspect that he slid a little bit too. Oh no, and he's gone off again. I don't know if he was trying to drift or something, but I think he might be trying to drift it. Oh, he's going back into pits. Okay. Zofa, can he improve on his lap time currently? Doesn't look like it, unfortunately. No, 2 seconds behind. So it looks like Tommy Rawling and George Given seem to be 0.004 of a second between each other in the lap times. That's just incredible. But we have 2 15-minute races lined up. Do not go anywhere. Let's see who can come out on top. And okay, I've just got news that Gabriel's name is pronounced Kurgan, not Churgan. I apologise for that. I'm not the best with names, as we known from previously. But I'm not sure how well this is going to be able to. If this is going to be able to work properly or not. I might have to skip session again if it doesn't finish. If it doesn't actually work, but. "13 concurrent viewers in the stream, though. I'm most certainly grateful. How is everyone doing this evening? We have some really good racing on the way. Into the grid we go. I should put myself back into the pits as we manage to do that. My apologies. Let's get up a different leaderboard so I can actually click on someone else. I can't click on that leaderboard. I think CMRT does not work properly. Let's do the Assetto Corsa one. Here we are. I think I can click on other people's names. I don't know how, but it's not working properly. Let's have a look, though. As our race goes underway, but I can't seem to be able to actually go onto it. As our race goes underway at Laguna Seca. One sec. There we are. So, Kasper Marciniak coming through the first corner. Leading, being able to properly gain a little bit of time on the start. As Jacob, I'm not going to try and pronounce his second name. Jacob behind him by 0.4 of a second, followed by Tommy Rawling, which is under half a second behind him. As we seem to have some fighting already between Wellerman and Zofa, as Zofa loses a position to Wellerman. Coming up to the uphill bit now. This place is very good for drafting. I'm not sure how effective the drafting is on these cars, but seems to be decent. See how... so Kasper's gaining from Jacob there by over a second. We have Gabriel and Darren fighting for P9. Ryan Cole doing excellent, coming through the corkscrew part. NS and Given seem to be also fighting. Let's see. George Given on his tail. Can he keep it together? The last corner is a crucial part of being able to make positions up. It seems that George may have had a little bit of a better exit than NS there, but is George going to be able to overtake him on the downhill? Let's find out. As they come down to the corner, a little bit of contact between George and NS there. As George goes down the inside, tries to keep it together, manages to take the position as NS backs out of the fight. One excellent overtake from George Given. Let's see who else we have. We have Cow and Packy fighting it out. What seems to be 12th and 11th position. As well as Radu Alex and Richard there. Richard seems to have spun out a little bit or been hit out of the wave by Radu Alex. Let's see who else. Oh dear, a little bit of contact with Ryan Cole there. I'm not sure what happened. Darren must have nudged into him. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. But there was a little bit of contact. Ryan Cole up into 10th. Keeps it in 10th. As he has Cal and Packy on its tail, followed by Radu Alex and Richard. But Jacob and Rawling also seem to be fighting, as Rawling tries to creep up to Jacob there, but does not have any luck doing so. Kasper Marciniak flying in first position by over 2.5 seconds. Almost 3 now as he goes into the final straight. Hoping to make up some more time, so he is free from the pack. He's well out of the drafting window there, but fastest lap 1:35.5. So Rawling and Jacob seem to be very close to each other now, as Gabriel Churgan and Cal fight it out. Radu Alex. Oh no, that's Richard. Richard sent into the barriers, unfortunately. That's really unfortunate for him. Unsure of what happened. As Radu Alex goes across the line with Gabriel Kurgan and Packy. Packy going up the inside. Managing to take a position. As Darren and Packy fight. Gabriel Kurgan and Packy wheel to wheel. Oh my cow, behind Gabriel Kurgan, he was hit out of the way there. That seems to be Packy onto the gravel as Gabriel Kurgan makes his way through to P10. Cow in P9th. Darren flies through in P8. Cow and Gabriel seem to have a decent distance between each other, but they could manage to have a fight if they can. Cow and Gabriel seem to have a decent... Yep, so wheel to wheel through there. As Cow goes a little bit wider to make up for that. As Gabriel spins, has a little bit of a drift, but keeps it together, and gets hit by Packy off the track. Can he keep it together? Can he get back onto the track? Yes, he can. Great control by Gabriel, but he's going to have a little bit of position making to do if he wants to make it into the top 10. See, Wellerman and Zofa seem to have a currently be close to each other, as Cow and Packy still managed to be quite close, as Packy has a little bit of a spin out of the corner. Sorry about that. Let's see. So Kasper Marciniak is almost 6 seconds ahead of Jacob there. George Given and Tommy Rolling seem to be fighting it out for P5 as Tommy goes up the inside again. But George has a better entry into the corner. George Given on his tail. A little bit of nudging going on there, but nothing too illegal. George right on his bumper. Is George going to have a better entry through the corner than Tommy? Both managed to go through there. I think George lost a little bit of time through that corner. He's a little bit more unsure than Tommy when going through there, understandably. As Tommy has a little bit of snap oversteer going through there. Or understeer, should I say. George has a little bit of a run on Tommy. Down to the last corner, is Given going to do the switchback again like he did before? First corner is where it happened. Let's see if Tommy can keep George away. So from Wellerman, respectable distance between each other. Wellerman has managed to catch Zofa and is on his tail. Alright, George Given and Tommy, they seem to be fighting as Tommy loses 5th position to George, but gains it back as George goes behind, rolling through there. With Given with his helmet. Nice little addition there. His OHG Racing helmet, I believe. Who else may be fighting? Zofa and Wellerman. Oh, as Wellerman has a little bit of a problem coming through the corkscrew, has a little bit of snap oversteer, as they all do coming through there. Loses, Zofa manages to lose Wellerman by over a second when that happens, so that's a little bit unfortunate for him. Is Wellerman going to be able to catch Zofa, though, in the next 5 minutes? Let's find out. Who's that just went off? Was that... Oh, that was Tommy that went off. As George makes his way through, that's unfortunate. I think either Tommy had a little bit too much speed going through there, or George must have hit him. I'm not sure. There's a lot of action going on everywhere, and it's quite interesting to see. Wellerman has already made up some time, so he's 0.8 of a second behind Zofa now. As Paki and Cal seem to be fighting it out. Well, Paki goes up the inside, manages to keep it up the inside, goes up the inside, and takes the position. Let's have a look at how our race leader's doing. Kasper Marciniak. 6 laps in, over 8 seconds ahead of Jacob. Yeah, there. With an additional 10 seconds behind, 10 seconds ahead of Zofa. So 18 seconds between first and third, which is insane. Had some excellent racing so far, hopefully more to come in race 2. Wellerman seems to have lost a little bit more time to Zofa, unfortunately. With 1.4 seconds in between them. Kvedaras and Joe are fighting it out. As Kvedaras goes off a little bit more. Keeps Joe at bay though. Oh no, Joe goes past. Ryan Cole must have had damage then. He is a 1 lap behind Kasper. That could have been when he got hit off, as damage is at 100% for today's races. Excellent driving for most of our drivers, managing to keep it together for the most part. Wellerman's still trying to get third. Oh, and as he does the same thing again, but works out in his favour this time, as he's under a second behind Zofa now. The common occurrence seems to be that Zofa plays it a little bit safer through there, but then Wellerman absolutely flies through there and has a chance of unfortunately giving his soul to snap oversteer. Kurgan in the pits, unfortunately, that could have been when he had all of that damage. As that seems to be Ryan Cole that was just against... Oh no, wait, Kasper Marciniak. So that was Domas Kvedaras that was wheel to wheel with Kasper for a second there. As Kvedaras seems to have a little bit of understeer with these cars, being a controller player. So there's okay. So there's 3.2 seconds between Wellerman and Zofa now. So Wellerman must have lost it again, unfortunately, which puts him a little bit more behind. But doesn't look like there's much of a chance he's going to be able to get third position back, as there's only 45 seconds remaining and 1 extra lap if Kasper Marciniak crosses the finish line, if he doesn't cross the finish line before the timer runs out. Apologies again. Oh, and Wellerman goes off again with George Given on his tail. And folks, we have one more race lined up after this one, so do not go anywhere. As Kasper comes up to the uphill bit. So there's going to be an extra lap, obviously. Final lap now. Jacob over 10 seconds behind Kasper Marciniak in the first race. Let's see if he can have an improvement in the second race now that he's got a little bit more experience with the car, to see and try and, you know, have a chance at getting first. Kasper Marciniak flying forward. Coming down to the final two corners now. Amazingly enough. Ryan Cole in 15th position. Kasper Marciniak coming up to the final straight. Coming across the line. Kasper Marciniak wins race 1. Great driving for Kasper Marciniak. Great driving from everyone. NS has their fan as well. NS going to be finishing in 7th. Tommy in 6th. George Given in 5th. Oh no! George Given in 4th. What happened there? Wellerman goes up into 4th. So that's race 1 done, folks. As we see some of our drivers finally going across the line. See who else is still on track. It must be Ryan Cole and Gabriel Kurgan coming up to the final straight, I think. Ryan Cole across the line. There we are. That should put us in race 2 very soon enough. I've moved the leaderboard by accident. Let's put it back. There we are. Okay. While we wait for the server to do its thing, and then when everyone returns to pits, race 2 should be starting. Now we are, okay, race 2. A minute waiting. Okay, well, as we wait for race 2 to start. I'd like to wish the great mother of Noah, Gabby Cox, a great birthday before we get going. Yeah. Requested by one of our lovely server members. And we are in the grid, on the grid again. Gonna reset myself to pits before anything crazy happens. As we should be able to see yep, there we are. So we can see the grid for the most part, but we've got to wait until the lights go red before the lights go green before I can see everyone and look at everyone respectively. So final race now. Excuse me, game, you are not behaving properly. There we are. Here we are. Final few seconds before the race goes underway. Good evening, Omi, and lights out, and away we go with race 2 of the OAC Altezza. Seem to have a decent start from everybody. Have to wait until we get down to the first corner before we want any sort of... There we are, so here we are. Kasper Masiniak managing to keep first position as Jacob goes up the inside, followed by Zofa in third position, which has a little bit of a wheel spin coming out of the corner. Kasper Masiniak manages to keep it together with Jacob on his tail. Wellerman goes off onto the gravel, giving Wellerman the perfect opportunity to go up down the inside, as well as George Given, followed by Tommy. NS behind Zofa by about, let's say, a few tenths of a second. Yeah, so 0.2 of a second. As Ryan Cole's behind NS. NS had a little bit of contact there. Ryan Cole barges his way through. Let's see how Kasper and Jacob are doing. So Jacob's managing to keep it together as we come down into the corkscrew. This is where things could go wrong. Nope, Jacob manages to perfectly execute that, so he's 3 tenths behind Kasper Masiniak as Tommy Rawling and George Given battle it out again, with Tommy Rawling going up into 4th position, with George on his bumper by 0.2 of a second and counting, as well as Paki and Radu Alex seeming to have a little bit of a fight, as well as Gabriel Kurgan into last position. Oh no. No, Domas is in last position as Gabriel manages to drift and have a little bit of snap oversteer going off into the gravel. That's unfortunate for him. Domas coming up through the inside of... going past Gabriel Kurgan as a little bit of a drift through the last corner there. As Zofa and Tommy Rawling seem to be fighting. Rawling managing to go up the inside of Zofa nice and carefully, as there's plenty of room behind them. Tommy managing to go perfectly in front of Zofa now, with Kasper losing Jacob now up to a second in a lap, so that's 0.7 Kasper's managed to go forward in a lap. Rawling and Zofa seem to be still fighting it out as Zofa tries to go up the inside, has a better run on Tommy. Let's see who can come out on top, as this corner's quite a difficult one. Through the inside Zofa goes, past Rawling. Oh no, Wellerman's gone off. Wellerman off the track once again. Oh no. George Given up into 3rd position. Zofa up into 4th. Tommy, oh no, Rawling up into 4th now, as Rawling's gotten past Zofa, as well as NS Chumen up into 7th. Darren up into 8th. Wellerman in 9th. Unfortunately, Wellerman lost a few positions after going off the track. Oh no, a little bit of collision between NS. Oh no, who's that? So that was Darren and Wellerman. A little bit of contact between them, a little bit of inevitable contact as Wellerman slows down, I think, a little bit. Paki coming up to the final corner here, as well as Darren recovering from the track. Richard going in front of Darren. Darren's going to try and go up the inside of Richard. Oh, a little bit of a collision there. That looked to be Radu Alex. Seemed to have lost it and come back onto the track. Radu Alex. Oh no, Gabriel Kurgan has DNF'd. A little bit of snap oversteer, I think, that had him on that corner. Domas Federas doing okay. Wennerman and Cow seem to having a little bit of a fight as well. Cow having a little bit of a drift through there. A little bit of a slide never hurt anyone. In this case, it could potentially impact his chances of getting 8th position. But for the most part, Wellerman is gaining some time on Cow with over a second between them now. Rolling and Zofa seem to... Oh no! I think he lost a little bit of time there. Rolling ahead of Zofa. Evening to Omi, the commentator. Yeah, I saw a message before. How are you doing? I hope you're good. Oh, Rolling kind of sends it through the corner. Given up into 3rd, so Rolling has to make up 2 seconds in the next few minutes. Apparently, the DNF was due to Paki and him having a little bit of an incident, which ultimately caused Gabriel to have damage, which could have been suspension related, and unfortunately had to DNF. As he's playing on controller, there's no countering that damage, which is unfortunate for him. He was doing okay, but came back and bit him, unfortunately. Let's see. Ryan Cole behind NS by just a few tenths here. As well as Zofa and Rolling finding out again. Rolling in front of... Zofa in front of Rolling there. A little bit of a fight between them. Is Rolling going to try his luck on the corkscrew here? Let's find out. So as they go down the hill, downhill side by side now. Yeah, Rolling up the inside. I think Zofa has a little bit of a more of a difficult time trying to go through there, probably without losing too much time. Yeah, they seem to have a very decent... Oh no, as Rolling gets nudged by Zofa there, I think, which caused him to spin out. Wellerman gains 6th, NS G-Man gains 5th. Rolling is up to 8th now. Wellerman manages to go up the inside, or on the outside of NS G-Men there. Is NS can have a run on the corner? Yes, he is. Little bit of door-to-door action there. As NS goes up the inside, managing to overtake Wellerman. Lovely bit of racing there. I think Wellerman was going to go up the inside, but realised that might have been a bad idea. Rolling and Cole seem to be having a little bit of a battle, but Rolling has overtaken Cole. Ryan Cole is doing very decent this race. Obviously having, you know, grippings with the car and... There's a bit of a gap between NS and Zofa now, by almost over 5 seconds, as well as the other end too. Okay, so lots happening all at once. So Rolling and Wellerman seem to have gone up the inside of Chimen there. Oh, as Wellerman gets hit wide by NS there, as Tommy goes up the inside, narrowly avoiding a collision there. But NS seems to have a run on the straight. Is Tommy Rolling going to go up the inside? Yes, he is. Is he going to have a run on NS, though? Yes, he is. Oh, no, he's not. No. Oh, and he gets hit. Ennis gets almost spun out by rolling there. Managed to keep without spinning there as Tommy rolling goes down the inside, using the pit lane to his advantage, managing to, you know, defend like a lion through these corners. Ennis seems to have a little bit of more of a run on him now. A little bit of a speed advantage as Ennis goes wide. Rejoins the track with not too much time lost. Yet just has to watch Ryan Cole on his tail. As Ryan Cole is not far from Ennis, and we've seen some close call in the past. Who else is fighting? Ryan Cole and Wellerman. Ryan Cole and Wellerman seem to be fighting. Wellerman tries to go a little bit wider into the entry there. Wellerman comes down the outside. Does he have a run on Ryan Cole though? Little bit. Oh, side by side. Ryan Cole gets hit wide by Wellerman. Spins him out again. Wellerman, I think, is going to give the position back to him now as Cal goes flying past, now in 7th position, with Packy in 11th. Oh, Darren seems to have DNF'd as well. Unfortunate. I think Darren got run wide by Packy into the corkscrew, which ended up both of them having damage. Ryan Cole behind Wellerman still, as Wellerman obviously gave Ryan position back, but kept behind him until he saw his chance, and then went up the inside. Well, seems to be having a decent fight at the moment. So Richard, Glez and Packy. Packy goes off. Final few minutes of the race. Ryan Cole goes ahead of Wellerman. Wellerman must have spun out then, as Wellerman is 2 seconds behind Ryan Cole. Ryan Cole has a decent chance of finishing quite high up this race if he keeps it together. Wellerman goes a little bit wide into the gravel on the corkscrew. Goes a little bit too deep into the corner, but refrains from having any damage at all, which is good. Richard Glez in 10th, followed by Packy in 11th and Radu Alex in 12th. Domas Kvidaras in 13th. He's having a little bit of issue of keeping the car, I think. Controller players have it a little bit more difficult, I believe. Seems to be doing an okay job. Zofa and George Given. George Given seems to have spun out, so Given, he's spun out. Zofa up the inside, I think. Yeah, Ryan Cole. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he seems to be doing alright now in 8th, though. Managing to keep Wellerman at bay. Good stuff all round from all of our drivers, though. We've seen some excellent overtaking. Packy and Richard are going at it, having a little bit of a fight, as Richard manages to not cause any incidents there, but there seems to be quite a gap between Jacob and Kasper Marciniak. They're 8 seconds over the past 13 minutes of this race, which, you know, is a lot better than 10 last race. Wellerman and Ryan Cole are fighting again. Ryan Cole behind Wellerman. Ryan Cole nudges him nudges Wellerman about a little bit out of the outside, but it's going to happen, especially in grassroots racing like this. There's a lot of door banging going on, and I think, you know, it's sometimes inevitable. Most of the time, you know, it's not intentional, but it may inconvenience some drivers. So, you know, Ryan Cole and Wellerman still fighting. Last minute of the race. Can Wellerman get a position on Ryan Cole, or will Ryan Cole manage to keep him at bay? Wellerman goes up the inside, backs out last minute, as he seems to have a little bit of a run. No, he doesn't. Okay. As we go up to the uphill bit, Ryan Cole a little bit slow. I think he was in too high of a gear. Wellerman now has a run on Ryan Cole as he goes out through the outside. Kasper Marciniak with the... Oh no, Wellerman goes off! Unfortunate Wellerman, I think he was pushing a little bit too hard there. So that's four. That was very good racing. Unfortunately, Wellerman pushed a little bit too hard. Kasper Marciniak set a fastest lap too. Fastest lap of the session with a 1:35.35, I think. Excellent driving from Kasper today. We haven't seen him a lot, but I mean, he was just driving and driving. There's not really much to commentate on. Final lap now as Kasper makes his way up to the top of the hill where the corkscrew is. Last few corners though. Who else is fighting? Let's see. Not many people by the looks of it. Ryan Cole and Wellerman seem to be going at it decently. Ryan Cole goes a little bit off, manages to keep it together. Wellerman gaining on Ryan Cole, it seems. As Wellerman goes up the inside of Ryan Cole. Kasper Marciniak wins the second race. So 2 out of 2 for him. As we watch Ryan Cole and Wellerman battle it out in the last few corners here. Unfortunate for Ryan Cole. I mean, he had a little bit of an incident when he went onto the gravel there, and obviously lost a little bit of time. But I mean, he was pushing really hard. Very well done to Ryan Cole for fighting. Very well done to everyone, I think. As George Given manages a P4, Tommy Rawling in P5, NS in P6, Cow in P7, Wellerman in P8, and Ryan Cole in P9. Ryan Cole across the line in P9, Packy across the line in P10. Then we have our final 3 candidates. Domas crawling across the line. Photo finish. Richard Glez making his way through. Were you guys battling? I think. Okay, it's fine. I'll have it. See who else. I think that's it. I think that's everyone. Have a look. Oh. Yeah, let's have a look at Ryan Cole. He seems to be doing donuts. Yes, he is. Ryan Cole is currently doing donuts. So what a race from everyone. But that concludes our OAC Toyota Altezza Fun Race. Thank you everyone who tuned in. It was lovely having you here. It's lovely having people in chat, you know, cheering for different people. And yeah, thank you to our partners of OAC, LSV Racing and Portimao Racing for being sponsors. And until next time, thank you everyone very much for coming in and supporting us. And